Have you ever heard of a water bear? It sounds like something from a cartoon, right? Maybe a tiny cuddly bear that lives in a puddle and has little adventures? Well, the truth is even more amazing than that. Water bears, or as scientists call them, tardigrades, are real creatures. They are, without a doubt, the most indestructible animals we have ever discovered on our planet. They are microscopic champions of survival. These little critters have captured the imagination of scientists and curious people everywhere. Not because they're cute, though many think they are, but because they can withstand conditions that would be instantly fatal to almost every other known life form, including us humans. Think about the most extreme place you can imagine. The freezing airless vacuum of outer space, the crushing pressure at the bottom of the deepest ocean trench, the inside of a boiling hot spring. A tardigrade can handle all of it. They are nature's ultimate daredevils. This isn't science fiction, it's science fact. For centuries, we had no idea these incredible organisms even existed, scurrying around in moss and lichen right under our noses. Their discovery opened up a whole new world of possibilities and questions about what it truly means for life to be tough. Their resilience is so off the charts that it forces us to rethink the very limits of life itself. So what makes these tiny powerhouses so special? It's their ability to essentially cheat death. They are a living testament to the sheer ingenuity of evolution, all wrapped up in a creature less than a millimeter long. So let's get our science on and dive into the world of the water bear. Prepare to be amazed, because this is one of the coolest stories science has to tell. Before we get into their superpowers, let's properly introduce our star. What does a tardigrade actually look like? Imagine a tiny plump caterpillar or a gummy bear with 8 legs. They are invertebrates, meaning they don't have a backbone. Their bodies are short and segmented, and those 8 stubby legs end in little claws, which they use to cling to bits of moss algae sediment. They move with a slow, lumbering gait, which is what earned them the nickname water bear from the German zoologist who first described them back in the 1770s. He thought they looked like bears ambling through a tiny, watery forest. You might be wondering where you can find these microscopic marvels. The answer is pretty much everywhere. Damp moss on a tree in your backyard soil of a garden, freshwater ponds shallow shores deepest, darkest trenches scorching deserts of Africa, frozen ice sheets of Antarctica. Despite their complex survival skills, their bodies are relatively simple. They have a mouth at the front with sharp stylets. They have a basic gut, a simple nervous system, and even a pair of primitive eyes that can detect light. They are some of the smallest animals with legs, typically measuring between 0.3 and 0.5 millimeters in length. You'd need a microscope to see one clearly, but don't let their small size fool you. Every part of their tiny body is engineered for one primary purpose: survival against all odds. Now for the really wild part. What can these little guys actually survive? The list is so long and extreme it sounds like something from a comic book. Let's start with temperature. Most life has a pretty narrow comfort zone, but not tardigrades. They can be cooled to just 1 degree above absolute zero. That's about minus 272 degrees Celsius. Or minus 458 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, atomic motion nearly stops. Warm them up, add some water. They can come back to life. On the other end, they can take heat up to 150 degrees Celsius. That's about 302 degrees Fahrenheit, well above boiling. Then there's pressure. We humans are sensitive to pressure changes. Tardigrades? They tolerate extremes. They've been subjected to pressures up to 6,000 times our atmosphere. That's 6 times the pressure of the Mariana Trench, enough to crush a submarine, and yet they emerge fine. Their most famous feat: surviving the vacuum of space. In 2007, ESA's Photon M3 mission took dehydrated tardigrades into orbit. They spent 10 days in the cold, airless vacuum of space. Some were also exposed to intense solar and cosmic radiation. Back on Earth, rehydrated specimens revived, some even laid healthy eggs. They became the first animals to survive exposure to space. It's a cocktail of lethal conditions, and tardigrades survive. Not one trick, a full suite of survival gear. How on earth do they do it? What's the secret sauce that makes a tardigrade nearly indestructible? The answer lies in a remarkable biological process called cryptobiosis, which literally means hidden life. When faced with a life-threatening environment, lack of water, extreme cold, too much radiation, the tardigrade doesn't just try to tough it out. Instead, it enters a state of extreme suspended animation. It pulls in its legs, curls up into a compact dehydrated ball called a ton, and effectively shuts down its metabolism, reducing it to less than 1/100%. In this state, it's practically a speck of dust. During this process called anhydrobiosis, life without water, the tardigrade undergoes a complete transformation at the molecular level. It replaces the water in its cells with special sugars, like trehalose, unique tardigrade-specific proteins. These molecules form a glassy, protective matrix inside the cells. This bioglass holds all the essential cellular components: DNA, proteins, membranes. It's kind of like wrapping all your fragile belongings in a super protective, custom-molded bubble wrap before putting them into long-term storage. Once conditions become favorable again, the tardigrade unfurls its legs and starts lumbering around again as if nothing ever happened. The incredible abilities of tardigrades have made them a hot topic in laboratories all over the world. By sequencing the tardigrade genome, researchers discovered a whole host of unique genes found nowhere else in the animal kingdom. Many of these genes produce special protective proteins. These proteins are often called tardigrade-specific intrinsically disordered proteins, also known as TDPs. In a landmark study, researchers inserted some tardigrade genes into human cells grown in a lab. The results were astounding. When exposed to high levels of X-ray radiation, the modified human cells showed significantly less DNA damage than normal cells. The tardigrade proteins acted like a molecular shield, physically protecting human DNA from harm. This proved tardigrade resilience isn't just a quirk, it's transferable technology encoded in their genes. This research opens up so many exciting avenues. We're learning entirely new ways to protect biological material: vaccines, medicines, human blood, organs. Imagine shipping life-saving medicines to remote parts of the world without them spoiling. That's the kind of world-changing innovation tardigrade research could lead to. Their existence on Earth also has huge implications for astrobiology, the search for life beyond our planet. If an animal on Earth can survive the vacuum and radiation of space, it makes life on Mars seem more plausible. Icy moons of Jupiter, icy moons of Saturn. Tardigrades are not just a curiosity, they are a roadmap to new discoveries. And hey, if you're finding this as fascinating as I am, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible science content. The potential applications of what we're learning from tardigrades are truly staggering. They stretch from medicine right into the final frontier of space exploration. For example, could we use tardigrade-inspired therapies to shield the cells of patients undergoing radiation treatment for cancer? The goal would be to protect the healthy cells from radiation damage while still targeting the cancerous ones. Long-duration space travel, like a mission to Mars, presents a huge danger to astronauts: cosmic radiation. Outside of Earth's protective magnetic field, astronauts are bombarded with high-energy particles that can damage their DNA and increase their risk of cancer. Perhaps a supplement or a gene therapy that gives human cells some of the same protective qualities. It sounds like science fiction, but the research on human cells in the lab shows it's a very real possibility we can explore. Think about growing crops in space. We could transport seeds in a desiccated, radiation-proof state ready to be planted on Mars or a lunar base. We could also use these techniques to preserve microbes or other biological samples for experiments in deep space. The humble tardigrade, a creature that evolved in the moss on Earth, might hold the key to helping humanity take its first steps toward becoming a multiplanetary species. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest solutions come in the smallest packages. The story of the tardigrade is more than just a cool science lesson. It's a call to look at the world around us with a renewed sense of curiosity and wonder. The microscopic world is just as spectacular, filled with creatures and processes that are just as complex and awe-inspiring. You don't need a fancy laboratory to be an explorer. Science is for everyone, happening all around us. So go out there, stay curious, keep exploring. The world is full of amazing things waiting to be discovered. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more incredible science content.